So last week, the ODIN VALHALLA Rising dev team released a Q&A for its global English-speaking players. Yeah, ODIN VALHALLA is confirmed to be coming out in English globally. And I know what you guys are thinking. I do. But STIX, isn't that the autoplay MMO that you talked about earlier this year? And yeah, yes it is. So with that knowledge, this wouldn't necessarily be good news if it released in the form that it's currently in. But what changes things, for me at least, is the fact that they made a comment on the autoplay features and whether they will be present within the global release. You know what else changes things though? If you click that subscribe button, especially if you're interested in staying up to date with MMO news every day, general MMO discussions, MMO giveaways, and if you feel like I deserve it, drop a like and a comment on the video. For those of you unaware of what ODIN VALHALLA Rising is, it is an MMORPG developed by Lionheart Studio and published by Kakao, the old publisher for Black Desert Online and the current publisher for games like Guardian Tales and Elion. ODIN is, as you would expect, a Norse-themed MMO, featuring characters like Thor, like Odin, Loki, Freya, and more. It's set in an enormous open world, and it features a graphical style akin to that of Black Desert Online. This was actually considered to be competition for BDO due to the incredible resemblance that it shared. Now, in their opening question for the Q&A, they went on to confirm their intentions to release the game globally. Are there any news about the global release? We have news to share indeed. Recently, we chose Kakao Games to be ODIN VALHALLA Rising's publisher for both the Taiwanese and the global versions of the game. Kakao Games has an enormous amount of experience in publishing games, both within and outside of South Korea. In addition, Kakao Games is our games publisher in South Korea. Our journey together has been, so far, overwhelmingly successful. Now, if you guys recall, I actually recently did a video pertaining to the overwhelming success that ODIN VALHALLA Rising has been in South Korea. Not only did the game earn over 100 million US dollars in its first month of being online alone, but it also had millions of players pre-register and tens of millions of players actually play the game in the first few months of its launch. So yeah, it was pretty successful. We're looking forward to continuing that journey and seeing what the future holds for both of us. Last but not least, ODIN is scheduled to release in Taiwan during the first quarter of next year in 2022. The global release is expected to take place right after the Taiwanese one. So that is a confirmation that ODIN VALHALLA Rising is going to be launching globally, either during the first quarter of 2022, so January through March, or shortly after, meaning, you know, hopefully in the next few months. The second question asked and answered was, are you going to remove the autoplay option from the global version of the game? And this is what I believe is going to ultimately be the deciding factor in what either makes or breaks the game for us as Western players. I think I just said us instead of us. Yeah, I need more sleep, man. Now, auto combat is an absolutely atrocious feature that I do not think should exist within PC games. You know, mobile games, sure, I don't really like it, but I understand the importance of it, but not PC games, never. Their answer to this though, we are still considering that option and we have yet to make a final decision on the matter. What this means is that enough people requested they change it, and if enough people continue to make their voices heard, like going into the comment section below and stating that you want autoplay removed, then we might get a version free of that limitation. Their third question was, do you guys work on additional projects other than ODIN VALHALLA Rising? To which they responded with yes. We recently revealed that we are working on a couple of new titles in addition to ODIN VALHALLA Rising. For those of you that enjoyed ODIN, or you know what, for those of you that are just looking for future MMOs, this is a direct confirmation that not only are they working on additional future titles, but one of those might actually be an MMO. Hopefully a PC exclusive MMO. The fourth question, can you share more information about the new projects? What kind of games are they? Which platforms will they be available on? Those projects are still in very early stages of development. When the right time comes, we will gladly reveal more information. And unfortunately, they are not really willing to elaborate on any of the games that they are currently in the process of developing, which, you know, is fine. I'm sure they're nowhere near being in a complete state yet, but I would honestly, as I just mentioned, like a PC MMO, please, Kakao, Lionheart Studios, yeah, PC MMO, come on, you got an audience, you got a market for it right here. And their final question, Are we going to see anything about Odin in this year's G-Star game convention? As you guys might be aware, G-Star is one of Korea's largest gaming events where Korean developers show off their games. Their response to this is, yes, you will. G-Star is South Korea's biggest gaming convention, and since Kakao Games are one of the main sponsors of this year's convention, Odin is going to be the star of G-Star. And that was it for their Q&A. We learned quite a bit from it. Honestly, they're in the process of finishing up development for not only their Taiwanese, but also their global release of the game that's going to take place definitely within the next 3 to 6 months. And most importantly, they are looking to potentially remove autoplay from the game, which once again is going to severely inhibit the game's success over outside of Korea, over here specifically in North America, Europe, Oceania, which would ultimately make this quite the competitive MMO title. So once again, make your voices heard, because I genuinely hope they listen and they follow through with this and produce a high quality MMO release for PC next year, at least for us, because, you know, Korea already got their crappy autoplay version.
Someday soon I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna